In general, perfectionists do better, but they feel worse. And that's why it's so important to shift your mind away from that type of thinking. In this video, I'm going to give you 4 ways to overcome perfectionism. Some people say to me, hey Matt, well, what if I just want to be great at something? I just want to be excellent at something. If that makes me a perfectionist, so be it. And I would say, look, just because you want to be great at something doesn't mean you also have to be a perfectionist. It all depends on where that drive is coming from. If you want to be great for you, great, fantastic, nothing wrong with that. The issue is when you want to be great because of what other people will think, to impress others. That is the problem. When we're little kids growing up, we get praised for achievement. That's how we get a lot of our validation, a lot of our love. We get good grades, we do well at sports, we follow the rules, behave well because of our appearance. We create this connection between feeling good and doing well. And as we get older, we get into adulthood, and we still have a lot of these same frameworks in our mind. They're just slightly more advanced. They're a bit more sophisticated. And that's the problem. As we get older, we're still doing things not because it's what we really want, because it's in alignment with what we really want to follow. We're still doing things because of what other people will think, because of what they might want, and it stops us being who we should be. The first step to overcoming perfectionism is to go into a task with the mindset of just starting and making a mess. Now, why does this help? Because one of the biggest issues with perfectionism is procrastinating or not even getting started on something because it's too big a task to be perfect. The problem with this is you end up, whatever it is you're trying to do, your progress is so much slower because you don't make enough mistakes. You're afraid to make mistakes. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid what other people are going to think. And that's why the mindset of just starting and making a mess and making mistakes is a great place to start. You can always iterate later on, you can get feedback, you can make updates, but make sure you get started. The second way to overcome perfectionism is to focus on the process to mastery, not so much on the outcome or the result. Perfectionism causes us to hold on to this impossible standard. And when we don't get that outcome or result that we want, then we get stressed out, we get anxious, the self-doubt starts, the confidence falls. I know for me, when I was gonna release my first YouTube video, I had everything ready to go. The video was shot, it was edited, the description was written, and 1 hour before I was gonna post it, I watched it again. Big mistake. And I was like, oh no, I hate it. My mind was automatically looking at every little thing I did wrong and should have been better. I was comparing my first video to people who have been making videos for 2 or 3 years. And honestly, guys, I was this close to just scrapping the whole thing, reshooting it, not posting that day. What ended up helping me make the decision to post was I asked myself a better question. Instead of saying, is this perfect? Which it obviously was far from it. I said, is this useful? And to that, I was able to say, yes, it is useful. Can someone get use out of it? Yeah. And I posted it. And that is a better question for us to ask. Next time you're hesitating in terms of putting something out into the world, don't ask yourself, is it perfect, or compare it to somebody who's further along the journey than you. Just say to yourself, is this useful? And if the answer is yes, that is good enough. And the third way to overcome perfectionism is to consciously practice being compassionate and understanding with yourself, especially when you're failing at something. I used to know this guy, and every time he was having a hard time doing something, he was so hard on himself. He'd say things like, I'm an idiot. I'm so stupid. And guys, I mean, we can't talk to ourselves like this. If you keep doing that over and over, this kind of self-talk, it's going to take a toll on you, at least subconsciously, somewhere that will seep into your psyche. Perfectionism causes us to judge ourselves and others so harshly. That same guy, when I met him the first time, he actually seemed so confident. I remember thinking, God, where's this guy get all this confidence from? But the more I got to know him, I realized he was super critical of other people. And then I realized he was even more critical, 2-3 times more critical on himself. And it led to him being deeply insecure. This person, the confidence I'd initially seen was just a facade. And the fourth way to overcome perfectionism, just put an elastic band around your wrist. And every time you notice yourself being really judgmental or critical about somebody else or yourself, pull it. Give yourself a slap. Using the body is a great way to help retrain the mind and break a pattern. And then every time you have to give yourself a slap, you then have to say 5 positive things, you can just do it in your head, about the person you were judgmental about, including if it was you. Try this for 30 days. That'll be enough time to help retrain your mind, break that pattern, and you can make it a bit more interesting by even keeping track. Write down every time you have to slap yourself with the elastic, and then try to beat your record of the previous week or the previous day. This is going to be a great way to help retrain your mind to break that pattern of automatically being super critical and judgmental. The problem with perfectionism is that we are not doing things for us. We are not doing the things in alignment with who we are because we're still trying to impress other people. We're doing it because of what they might want or think. Give up on being perfect and instead work on becoming yourself. Let me know in the comments below, what part of your life do you find yourself being a perfectionist in? Make sure to also hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. You get more content, motivational self-help, and communication skills. See you in the next video.